And tonight I wanted to talk about duplication. Let me just get up my screen here. And duplication is one of those things where, we want to duplicate systems that scale within our business, right? So that not all the work is on us, right? We want to make it a little bit easier when building the business because, let me just share my screen here. Because if it's just you building the business, if it's just you bringing in, 5 people a week, 5 people a month, whatever it is, if it's just you constantly doing all the work, you're going to just tire yourself out, right? It's not going to grow as quick as you want it to. Is it going to grow? 100% it will grow, right? But if you're not duplicating the systems that you're using within the business, right, how do you expect to grow quicker? Right? This is one of those things where duplication and helping your team learn the skills that you've learned, right, will help you also help them grow, help their business grow, and by default, it's going to help your business grow as well, right? So we're going to talk about duplication and duplicating systems that scale, right? The first thing I want to talk about is what is duplication, right? Duplication is copying a proven system so that it can be repeated by others, right? So what do we have? Which systems do we have with inside Revolt and Jifu that are proven systems that can be repeated by others, right? Number one, we have all of the onboarding, right? You show your newest customer, they sign up, you walk them through the Revolt website, we have the fast start, right? That's the number one spot that you should be starting at, right? Because that's a proven system that can be repeated by others, and everybody goes through that system, right? Give me one sec. I'm going to, Dayton, I'm going to make you co-host if you want to let some people in, just because when I share my screen, I'm not able to see who's joining. So just so that you can let some more people in. But, you want to help your people, help your team, right, go through the same exact systems that you went through to get to where you're at, right? Copying a proven system so that can be repeated by others, right? Why does duplication matter? Our business doesn't grow because of what we can do alone, right? It grows because others can copy what we do and pass it on, right? Think about it this way, just for an example, right? If you're building your business, right, you brought in, let's say this month, you brought in 10 personal people into the business, right? You went out there and recruited 10 new people and brought them into the business, right? That means your business grew by 10. But now, what if you were able to duplicate exactly what you did into those 10 people that you brought into the business? And the next month, your business just grew by 100, right? You helped 10 people get 10 people. Your business now grew by 100. Instead of you going out and doing another 10 the next month, you duplicate exactly what your system was, the way that you invited somebody to, maybe it was a call like this, right? Maybe it was a video that you sent out to the people that are interested in what we got going on with Revolt and Jifu, right? It doesn't matter what you went through or what your system was, but if you can help those 10 people that you just brought into the business do the exact same thing and they can get 10 people in the business, your business just grew 10 times in 1 month, right? Not because you did more work, but because you helped your team do the exact same work you did the previous month. Does that make sense? Drop a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. I want to see that you guys are still following, that you guys are still with me. Perfect. And then your team will do 20% of the positive things you do and 80% of the negative things you do, right? So 20% of the positive. What does that mean, right? They're going to do 20% of, let's say you brought in 10 people, right? They're going to do 20% of that. They're maybe only going to bring in 2 people, right? They're going to be watching. Your team watches you as the leader, right? You brought somebody into the business. You are now leading that person, right? And if 20%, if your team does 20% of what you do, right? Let's say you brought in only 1 person, or you don't really feel like doing the business, or you're not really training as much as you should be, or you're not on the live sessions, you're not going through and doing your DMOs, your personal production, personal development, right? You think your team is going to do that? No, right? This is why you want to do everything you know that we need to do, right? We have systems in place, which we're going to go over what those systems are. I'm going to show you guys those systems, right? The different things that you can duplicate into yourself and into your team, right? But your team does 20% of the positive things you do, right? This is why we're all, everybody in Revolt is doing the Revolt swivel, right? We yell, Revolt, that's all duplication. Those are things that duplicate it, right? But they do 80% of the negative things you do. So if you're not posting on social media, your team's not going to post on social media. If you're out at the club every single day or every weekend, your team's going to be out at the club every single day, right? Exactly what you do duplicates. Your team is always watching exactly what it is that you're doing, right? So you want to be posting and doing things that you want your team to be posting and doing, right? You want your team to grow, you have to grow, right? You want your team to get out of their comfort zone, you have to get out of your comfort zone, right? They're watching everything you do, right? And if you want your team to grow and build, like I just said, you have to show them that you're growing and that you're building, right? Does that make sense? Drop some fires in the chat if that makes sense, right? Your team is always constantly watching you, everything that you do. Let me see. Fire. This is why sales and leadership are the highest paying skills in the world. Exactly, right? Exactly. What does duplication look like? Right? Duplication looks like plugging into the systems, right? Whether that's presentations, whether that's different calls, right? We have 4 different weekly calls, right? Can we all, let's go back here. Can we all drop in the chat what those weekly calls are? Right? Let's see if you guys are on it. This is easy stuff that everybody should know. BAM call, op call, leadership call, and then Trading Tuesday. Blake's on it. Right? We have those 4 calls every single week. Are you plugging your team? Are you plugging your customers into the calls that they should be on? Right? Another thing that you want to do when it comes to duplication is you want to know everybody in your team. Right? There's going to be people who are just doing travel. There's going to be people who don't want to build a business. There's going to be people who don't want to trade. They just want to build a business, right? Are you plugging them into the right calls? Right? Because if you're not, then you're not duplicating the right things. Then your team's going to be like, well, I don't want to watch that. Why should I hop on that call? This doesn't interest me, right? Why does he keep sending me these calls, right? You want to plug them into the systems and into the things that they want to do, right? If you have a 10 out of 10, somebody who wants to build, he's dialed in on trading, he's traveling, using all the products and everything, you want to plug them into everything, right? But if you have somebody that just wants to trade, they want to take Nick Gomez's call outs, plug him into the trading stuff, show him exactly what his next steps are, right? In the trading side, right? Get him a crypto portfolio going, right? You have to find exactly what your team is looking for in this business and help them duplicate that, right? Whether that's presentations for the people who want to build, who want to get out there, present the information, build the business, different calls like we talked about, right? We have the family call, the op call, Trading Tuesday, and leadership on Wednesday, right? Different scripts, or teach them how to, say different things or word different things when they are presenting or they are inviting somebody, right? Different tools, like we have so many different tools on the Revo website. If you guys are not using those to your advantage, you're really missing out, right? There's a whole vault section. There's a whole director boot camp, which we're going to go over after as well and show you guys all of that, right? But the most important things when it comes to duplication is the 72-hour launch call, right? You want your newest customer launched and ready to go so that they know everything about the business, that they can build the business, right? Help them get a 4 No More membership. They should know exactly how to go through all of the trading, all of the Revo website and the Gifu website, right? Your 72-hour launch call is the most important thing. And if you can duplicate that, you can duplicate success in your business, right? The 72-hour launch call, if somebody is not launched correctly, they're going to slip through the cracks. You're not going to hear from them. They're not going to know what to do, right? You need to make sure that you're on top of that 72-hour launch call, They know exactly what they need to do. They're in all the group chats. They went through the Revo website. You showed them how to navigate the GFU website, right? You need to have all of these different things done in order for them to launch properly and then duplicate that into your next leader, right? You have a new upcoming leader. They want to build a business. You help them and show them exactly how to launch within 72 hours, how to plug into systems, present, all the calls, everything, right? And then following a simple daily method of operation. If you don't have a simple daily method of operation of all the DMOs that you do, right, whether that's trading in the morning, right, doing personal development, going to the gym, all these different things that you're doing, but you expect your team to be doing that, right, you're not setting yourself up for success. If you can't follow a simple daily method of operation, right, then your team won't know how to do that either, right? And then using the company's tools instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, right? Sometimes we get comfortable. We want to do it our way, right? Why do we want to do it our way when there's systems in the company that have been proven to work time and time and time again, right? Inviting, the 4-step invite, right? This is a skill when it comes to building a business that has been duplicated, and everybody uses that exact same 4-step skill to invite to everything, whether that's calls, presentations, events, Zoom meetings, whatever it is, the 4-step invite, right? When it comes to new prospects as well, you want to always make sure you're using the different tools and the different skills that we've been teaching time and time again, right? And keep doing that instead of reinventing the wheel. Why do you think that, let me stop sharing my screen here for a second, and see who I'm talking to, who's got their camera on, right? I see Dayton, I see Blake, I see Micah, Kenner, a few of you new guys, right? But Dayton, how many times in the last almost 3 years have you heard the perfect invite? Have you heard how to present and all these different things? How many times?
That's the only reason I'm so good at it. It's just repetition, hearing it over and over and over again. It's too many times.
Repetition, right? Hearing it over and over and over and over and over again, right? The little things that we talk about on these calls, the things that we teach in the director boot camp, the trading, whatever it is, these are proven systems that work. And that's why we talk about them. That's why we teach them over and over and over again, right? Don't go out there and try and reinvent the wheel, right? Do it your own way. There are systems that we have, which we're going to touch on again in the website when I go over that, right? There's systems in place that are there to help you win and not to reinvent the wheel, right? Barriers to duplication, right? I think oftentimes we're too easy to skip over the different barriers when it comes to duplication, right? Or we get stuck in a certain point where we don't know how to move on from that, but it's really just so simple just by looking the other way, right? Overcomplicating the business, right? You don't want to overcomplicate the business when you're sharing the presentation or sharing what we do with the newest person who has no idea what this business is, right? If you see somebody or you're talking to a prospect that's brand new, has never heard about trading before, but you want to show them how they can be free and how they can learn the skills that you've learned, right? You got to stop shoving trading and Forex and USD JPY and XAU USD down their throats. They're not going to understand what it is, right? You have to show them, send them a video, send them a recording, get them on an op call, get them in a room with somebody who knows how to present, right? These are different ways that you can duplicate and different ways you can show somebody the business without making it complicating, right? KISS, keep it stupid simple, right? Write that acronym down. Keep it stupid simple, KISS, right? It's going to help you a lot when it comes to building the business, when it comes to talking to new people, when it comes to even trading. You just got to simplify it. Don't always look to shoot over the stars, right, or shoot over the moon, right? And do everything your way. Follow the systems that are there to help you win, right? There's a reason why, the educators in Gifu are educators in Gifu, is because they've been doing it for so long. They've been doing the exact same thing year after year after year, month after month after month, week after week after week, right? Don't overcomplicate the business. And then relying on personal charisma or skills, right? Don't always rely on yourself. Don't always rely on your own skills, right? There's other people that can help you, right? If you feel stuck, you don't know how to help somebody build a business, or you don't know where to send your newest customer, right? For my new leaders on here, the people who are just wanting to get into building the business, right? Talk to your mentor, your upline, right? Whoever that is, and ask them for help, right? Get them to help you, show you the next steps, right? To help you help your newest customer to the next steps, right? Stop relying on yourself if you don't understand what needs to be done next, or which video can be sent out next, or how to properly invite. If you don't know, ask somebody that does know, and they can help you get the success or learn the skill a lot quicker than you keep trying to do it and do it and do it on your own pace, and you're not getting anywhere, right? And not teaching, but just doing everything yourself, right? You want to teach the things that you learned, right? The way that you learn is by teaching, right? The way that I learned how to trade smart money, and the way that I learned how to trade trend trap, and the way that I learned to build a business and do these trainings for you guys is not just by doing it for myself and writing notes and being the best note taker, right? And then not doing anything. It's by getting out of my comfort zone and teaching it to my team, teaching it to you guys, right? Even if you suck, right? I was never good at presenting. I was never the person who wanted to get in front of a room or get on a Zoom call and be the center of attention, right? But you have to get out of your comfort zone, go out there and teach the skill, right? And teach something to someone, and you're going to start getting it and learning it at a lot quicker rate, right? I was so stuck with trading and with building the business and doing all these things, and I didn't understand why, but it was because I wasn't teaching my team what I was doing. I wasn't teaching anybody or showing anybody how to duplicate what I just did, right? Once I started teaching people and showing everybody how I was doing what I was doing, that's when I started to see more success, because now I understood it more. I was teaching it to someone else, and you don't want them to fail, right? So you have to be at your A game when you're teaching somebody that skill set, right? So that they can go and make money using that exact same skill set that you're teaching, right? From there, your role in duplicating your team, right? You model the behavior first, right? What does that mean? People don't do what you say, they do what you do, right? We talked about that. People don't do what you say, they do what you do. People are always watching, whether that's in your team, right? Everybody in Revolt, they're watching, right? We're watching. And as leaders, right, you can't just tell somebody to, get on this call, and then you're not on the call yourself, right? You can't tell somebody, take this trade idea from Nick, and you're not doing it yourself. You can't tell somebody, you better invite for Monday's op call, and you're not doing it yourself, right? Make sure you're there at the weekly sessions that we do in Calgary and Kamloops or in Ontario, right? But you don't show up yourself. People don't do what you say, they do what you do. Make sure you write that down, right? And make sure that when you're telling somebody to do something in your team, you're also doing that, right? Not just, oh, I better text Sally and tell her to get on tonight's leadership call, right? Oh, I better tell Jim that Nick Gomez sent out another trade idea, and then you're not taking it yourself. You're not showing up, right? You show up to go up, right? Write that down as well. And then keep it simple and repeatable, right? If it's not simple enough for somebody who has no idea what's going on They've never seen trading. They've never seen network marketing. If you can't teach them the skill, right, and make it repeatable for every new person that comes into your business, right, you need to go back and simplify it. Right. If it's not simple for somebody who has no idea what's going on in this business, they're just excited to make money and you can't teach them the skill set, simplify it. Right. Ask your mentor for help. Ask somebody in the company. Ask me, ask Dayton, ask Blake, ask Tommy, ask Donnie, Olivia, Sam. There's people out there that can help you learn these skill sets and they can help you keep it a lot simpler and also make it repeatable. Right. And then empower and don't babysit. Right. You don't want to sit there and, like making like texting everybody's like, okay, that you better be on, you better be on, you better be on, you better be on. Right. You want to invite them, right? Do it the right way. But if you're just like babysitting them and like, I hope that kid doesn't fall. I hope they get on the call. Right? You're just watching from afar. You're not doing what you need to do. Right? You need to empower your team. Tell them, hey, if you want to learn how to present the op call, be on Monday's call. Right? Show up to learn how other people are presenting the call on Monday. If you want to learn how to trade and how to learn the basics of trading, be on Tuesday's call. If you want to learn more about leadership and step into that leadership role, be there on Wednesday. Right? Give them the tools, empower them. And when they're not feeling, up and they're feeling down, give them an audio to listen to help them get back up. Right? Give them a book to read. Right? Be there for them, support your team, not just babysitting them and, hoping that they do what you're not doing. Right? Your role as a leader is to make sure that your team knows exactly what they need to do next, especially if it's somebody that's brand new in the business. Right? And how to duplicate. Right? I do, you watch. I do, you help. You do, I help. You do, I watch. And then you do, you teach. What does that mean? Right? So if you, as a leader, right, we're all leaders in here, right? Let me see a 3 in the chat. If we're all leaders in here, I'll drop a 3 as well. And I'll get to questions right after I'm done here. And then we're going to go into different systems that are duplicatable. So I'm not forgetting you guys. I see your questions. But I'm talking to the leadership here, right? How do you duplicate these different systems, right? Is I do, you watch. As a leader, if you have somebody who wants to learn how to invite, you have somebody who wants to learn how to present the business, you have somebody that wants to learn how to take trade ideas, you do it and you get your team to sit there and watch, right? If you're closing a prospect for your team member, you're closing the prospect, right? You're on a 3-way call. It's you, your team member, and the prospect. You get your team member to sit down and watch you close that prospect. And write and take notes. Make sure they're taking notes. They're watching you close that person, right? You're doing it. They're watching it. Then next time, right? Now you're closing another person. Now it's I do, you help, right? So you as that leader, you're still doing the closing, right? You're still taking charge, but now your team member that has that prospect on the call with you is now helping you close that prospect, right? They're asking a few questions, right? They're handling a few objections. They're not doing the whole thing, right? But they're helping you, right? They're still learning. They're helping you close that prospect. And then you do, I help. So this is where you take a step back, right? You're not doing the full closing anymore, right? You get your team member to close that person, but you're still there to help them, right? Make sure that they're asking the right questions, right? If they forget a step when it comes to closing somebody, right? Or they forget to ask a question, or they forget to dig deeper and find that pain point, you're there to help them, right? And give them feedback after as well, right? It's not I do, you help, where you're doing the whole thing and they're helping, and then after that you're just like, hey, you're on your own. You helped me one time and you're good, right? You want to duplicate them and make sure they're doing the right things long enough consistently so that they have it down and they can go and duplicate that as well, right? You do, I help. And then is you do, I watch, right? So your team member is now doing everything, but you as a leader, you're just watching, right? You're still there. Yeah, you can help and, say a few words and, make sure that they're saying what they need to be saying, but you're watching them close that person, right? Or give that presentation or invite that person to the next meeting, right? You're watching them, and then after, you're going to give them constructive criticism, give them feedback on what they did good, right? What they could have done better, and what they probably shouldn't do next time, right? You want to be there to help them, right? And watch them grow. And then you teach, right? This is where now you've duplicated the system to a point, right? Whether that's inviting, presenting, closing, you've duplicated it to a point where now your team member is now a leader. They can go out there and lead others to duplicate exactly what you just duplicated into them. Does that make sense? Let's see some fires in the chat if that makes sense. Pro tips: score their part of the presentation out of 10, then revise it together after every op call or event. Exactly. Every time when I'm doing an op call, when I'm doing a trading call or a leadership call like this, I get Donnie, I get Tommy, I get different people to give me feedback on what I did good, what I could have done better, and something that I should probably not say or do again. Right? It's called constructive criticism. You're helping your newest team member grow, right? And if you want to grow and if you want to see if you're doing this right, get your upline, right? Get your mentor, get your leader to watch you, right? And give you constructive criticism, because that's how you grow, excuse me. Right? From there, practical action steps for your team and for you, right? Ask your team, right, if they're inviting or if they're what their strategy is with trading or the presentation, right? Different calls that they're doing. Ask your team, can your newest team member duplicate exactly what you just did? Right? Can they do what you did? If you were to teach somebody your step-by-step process for inviting somebody, or your step-by-step process for the presentation, your step-by-step process when it comes to trading, can your newest team member duplicate exactly what you just did? If the answer is no, simplify it, right? Make it simple. Go back to the basics. Go back to the director bootcamp. Go back to the trading basics, right? And simplify it. If it's not duplicatable, go there and simplify it. Find what you could do better. Find what you should take out and make it easier for your newest team member, right? And then plugging into every call. Staying around the campfire is one of the most important things when it comes to this business, right? Plugging into every call, like we talked about. Sunday, family call. Monday, opportunity call. Tuesday, trading basics. Wednesday, leadership, right? And then the pop-up calls that we do. Every single day, there's different educators going live. If you're learning trading, whether it's crypto or Forex, social media, AI, business, whatever it is, there's somebody live every single day. If you're not plugging into the systems, if you're not plugging your team into the systems, how do you expect to make money? And then how do you expect your team to make money if you're not doing it and you're not getting them to do it either? Right? It's just insane. If you think that you're going to make money by not plugging into the system, not plugging into every team call, right? And you just expect to make $10,000 a month, right? That's not how it works. You have to plug in. You have to show up to go up, right? You want to make money trading? Be there on Tuesdays, trading sessions. You want to make money with trading? Take the trade ideas from Nick Gomez and all the other educators. Tap into the live sessions that they do every single day for different educators, right? You want to learn leadership? Talk to Tommy. Be on the Wednesday calls, right? Talk to your leader. They can help you because they've done and been where you are exactly what you want to do, right? They're at a point where they can teach you what you want to learn. And then you can get to a point where you're doing and teaching your team the exact same thing. Another actionable step, be at every event that's local in your city. Right? Be at every event that's local in your city. And if you don't have a local team event, start one. This is a place where people who are in the team can come together, learn the skill set of trading, learn the skill set of building the business or inviting or doing the presentation, right? Be at every event that's local in your city, because then you're close to the campfire. You're face to face with different people in the company, in the team, that are doing these things on a daily basis. They're doing the outreach to get new prospects. They're talking to everybody when they're out and about. They're on every single team call that we do weekly, right? Be around those people who are doing what you want to be doing. And then the last actionable step, be at every major convention, right? If you want to go out there and learn from the best of the best, being at convention on April 17th to the 19th in Portugal is where you need to be. If you want to be serious about building this business, go and buy your ticket tonight for the convention in Portugal, because that's where you're going to be around people like Alex Morton, Johnny Lopez, Julian Kushner, right? The CEO. These are people who are going to be there that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, millions of dollars a month, right? If you want to get around those people who have been where you are and have done exactly what you want to do and can show you how to get there, being at convention is what you need to do. Don't miss a convention, right? Convention changes lives, right? Major events like convention. I remember we went to Vegas, right? There was Germany and Portugal's coming up. There was Croatia. A bunch of you guys went on here, right? There's been so many different conventions, and every one of those big major events where you learn from those people, right, changes your life, changes the way you look at the business, the way you look at trading, right? And if you don't have money and you're like, oh, I don't have money to go there, you have like 8 months to get the funds together for April, right? There's no reason why you know of the convention in April that you shouldn't have money by April to go there, right? Do what you can, get the funds together, make sure you're there, because convention is really, truly going to change your life. There's going to be 14,000 plus people in a stadium, all a part of GFU, right? That are fired up, ready to go, have the energy, or ready to make money, are making money, right? You're just going to get fired up, right? Just by default by being there. And you're going to learn a lot too from the people who are running the company, from the people who have made the amounts of money that we all on this call want to make, right? Don't miss convention. And then from there, let me go to the next slide here. I think it's frozen. Oh, is that it? Oh, that's it, right? So from here, I forgot that was the last slide. I thought we had one more. From here, what we're gonna do now, right, is actually show you guys different tools that you can use to duplicate in your organization, in your business. Right, let me see. I know there was a few questions in here. Don't do what works, do what's duplicatable, 100%. How do you respark interest in a customer that's not locked in yet? Right? The way that I do it is, you don't want to be that person who has to re-spark the interest, right? If there's somebody who you know is interested in the business, you keep following up with them until they say no, or no is just a not right now. By no, I mean they block you, right? They tell you to never text them again, whatever it is. If you get something like that, then you're probably, gonna go on to the next person. But a no is just a not right now, right? I know there's people on this call who, I've personally talked to for 2, 3+ months until they joined the business. They told me, nah, man, it's fake. Yeah, I know you're just trying to get me into this thing. And then they joined the business, right? You just want to keep sending them information, keep getting them on the next opportunity call. Figure out what is their why, what are they interested in the business, right? Do they want to build the business? Do they want to learn trading? Do they want to do crypto? Are they in real estate? What is it that they want to look for or are looking for to make more money when it comes to the business, right? And then send them those tools and those videos and those resources that connect to what they want to do, right? You're not going to send somebody that wants to learn more about crypto, a video on real estate and AI. It just doesn't make sense, right? And if you are resparking the interest in somebody, in a new customer, you know, just go back to forming them. If you haven't talked to them in a while, right, or you lost that connection and you haven't talked to them in like 6 months, right, just form them again. Just be like, hey, bro, obviously you're not going to ask where you're from unless they moved, right? And you know that they moved, but just like, yo, are you still at that job, right? Get to know them again. Like, ask them probing questions. Let them open up to you, right? And then go into showing them the business again. That's a little bit off topic from duplication, but that's something that I would do, right? I would just form them again, see what they've been up to. If they're still working the same job that they told you that they hate, right? Most people are. It's actually crazy, but that's what I would say. Study your own recordings too. Facts, 100%. If you're not comfortable or you think that you could have done things better, every time you get on a Zoom session, what I do for training basics and for these leadership calls and op calls, I'll watch the previous session that I did and study myself. Like, what could I have done better? Right? What should I leave out in the next presentation? What should I leave out? Right? Did I say that correctly? Is there a better way that I could have worded that? How can you always, level up in all these different aspects? Every team member you bring to a convention increases your monthly income by $1,000. Facts. I don't think there's any more questions in here. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to go on the Revolt website and show you guys different tools that you can actually use to duplicate into your team. All right, let me just open up a new tab here. Don't worry, I'm not sharing my screen yet, so don't worry about, oh, where's the screen? I'm just pulling this up here. And for some reason, it signed me out of all my accounts, so I gotta sign back in. But when it comes to trading, when it comes to learning the skill sets to make money within Revolt and Gifu, right? What you want to do before you even go to the Gifu website, you want to come to the Revolt website, right? When you're launching somebody, the fast start, right? This is where you want to take your newest customer when they get started, right? You get them to set their goals. If they don't have a 1 month, 3 months, 6 month, and a year plan of why they're in Revolt and what they want to achieve within Revolt, they're not going to do anything. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I've seen it time and time again where there's people who they tell me they have goals, they tell me they have this and that, and they have their why, but they never write it down, or you never get them to write it down on a piece of paper and send it to you so you can keep them accountable. They're simply just going to 1 month it. They're going to pay for the fee for 1 month, take their card off of the Gifu site, and that's it. Then you're going to chase them and wonder where they went, right? It's about going through the fast start, getting them to set proper goals. That's how you're going to retain, and that's how you're going to keep people, by showing them and then also helping them set proper goals, right? When it comes to your 1 month goal, I've seen people write down, I want to make 10K in my first month. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to happen unless you have a capital of $100,000 that you can put into your PU Prime account and you've already been trading for the last 5 years and you know exactly what's going on. You can just copy and paste and you have a strategy already. Maybe 100% it will be possible if you actually have seen results. But if you're brand new and you have no idea what trading is, you've never seen a chart before, and you tell me you want to make 10K in your first month, it's not going to happen. So help your newest team member write proper goals that are actually achievable, not that they get to the end of the first month, they're like, oh, I didn't make 10K this month, right? Obviously not. You got to learn the skills, learn the basics, launch them properly and show them where to start and what's actually achievable with this business. Right? This is something that is not a get rich quick, it's a get rich over time. You got to make that clear with people, or they're just going to expect the best out of this business and expect to make money quickly. Right? So that's step one. Step two, you want to make sure that your newest team member is plugged into the culture. This is the group chats. You want to make sure they're in the family group chat, right? They have the trade room, the results, the crypto, all the recordings that are in there, the travel. You want to make sure that they're in all of these group chats, right? Whether it's the Calgary team chat or the Peak Elevation group chat that we have for BC, right? You want to make sure that people are in the group chats that they need to be in, right? So that they can see and follow and know that there's other people doing this with them, right? And one of the most important things is when it comes to this, make sure to get them to unmute the family chat, unmute the big Revolt chat, because as soon as they join, right, a new member joins that group chat, it will be muted for them automatically. So make sure you get them to unmute that, right? Get them to put these 4 calls into their schedule, right? If they don't want to build the business or you haven't talked about building the business, maybe wait until they are open to it or you've talked to them about building the business. Right? Don't just shove it down their throat and tell them be there on Wednesday. They have no idea what's going on. Right? You want to show and get people on the calls that they should be on. Right? Make sure to get the right calls, right team calls in their schedule. Do it with them, get them to open up the Google Calendar and show you that they did it. Because most people, they'll be like, yeah, I did it, blah, 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 and then they never do it, right? Make sure you can see them share their screen and put it into their calendar. Also, the Revolt Instagram is there as well. Get them to follow it and, be plugged in with that as well so that they get to see what we're up to, different things that we're doing. And then when it comes to here, step number 3, you got to figure out what your customer wants. You have Joe, the newest person in your business, wants to learn more about crypto. He wants to build a portfolio. He's hyped about Bitcoin hitting 124,000. You're not going to send him down the Forex tab. You guys got to make it easy for yourself and just, the system is there to really step by step help everybody with their, the niche or what they want to learn. It's all right there. They want to learn Forex, show them Forex. They want to learn crypto, show them crypto. They just want to travel and get discounts, show them the travel, right? You got to make it easy for yourself. So when we go to Forex, for this example, right? Here, if you're from Canada or Europe, and if they're from the States, there's the other button. Get them to download MetaTrader with you, right? Get them to download PU Prime and help them connect their account, right? Show them how to take a trade on MetaTrader, right? Show them how to use proper risk management, how to take the trade ideas from GFU, how to set up TradingView. Go through these different things with them. If they want to go do Forex, you should be the first person when you enroll them. You're the person that they look up to. If you're not showing them exactly what they need to do, they're not going to go out there and do that. Right? And then also make sure that they don't jump to the GFU Live portal before going through and on watching educators if they have no idea what trading is or they have no account set up yet. You want to make sure they go through this website on Revolt step by step. They have all the apps, they have all the accounts, they have everything set up that they need before going and watching the Forex basics or the crypto basics or the e-commerce basics. Right? And before they get on a live session, get them to watch the basic videos. Right? From here, let's go to GFU. Like there's these different things called beginner module, intermediate module, advanced module, right? These 3 steps, if they haven't 100% completed those, I'm not getting my newest customer to jump on a live session. Right? Unless they already know trading, they already understand and have a basic foundation. I'm not getting that newest member who has no idea what trading is on the beginner module. Right? And that goes for all the other education as well. And then when it comes to building the business, we have something called the Director Bootcamp, right? The Director Bootcamp. What is that? This is about launching your business, right? There's a quick video about Tommy. He talks about how to launch your business, why you should launch your business, right? He's going to get you fired up about building the business. And then there's two ways that you can go. You can go the traditional route or the social media system, right? I would suggest go through the traditional route first, learn the different skill sets, and then go use the social media system when you actually know how to present the business to a person that you don't know, to a person that you are close with, to your family members. If you don't know how to present the business yet, or you don't know how to talk about the business, I wouldn't suggest going down the social media system just yet, right? But unranked to executive, what is this? Right? This is step one, launching your business. We're going to talk to you and teach you how to launch your business. Then making a list, right? Making a four checkered list, right? You want to always contact your four checkered people when it comes to building the business. And what does that mean? Right? Watch the video and you'll know. Do they have money? Do they have influence? Are they ambitious? Right? Are they teachable and coachable? These are different things that you got to know before signing somebody up, right? Let's say you have a list of 100 people and you don't go through and four checker them. And then you have Tom who wants to trade but isn't teachable and coachable and just throws $5,000 into account and blows it, right? Why do you think that is? You didn't four checker them. Go through your list, make sure you hit your four checkered people, right? Those are the people that you're going to want to work with. You're not always going to chase the people that have no money, right? I've heard it countless times like, oh, so and so doesn't want to join my business. It's like, is he a four checkered? Have you gone through the list? It's like, no. It's like, he doesn't have money. It's like, okay, then help him save money to get there. And don't always chase him if you know that he's bad with money or he's not teachable and coachable. He's not doing the right things, right? Focus on somebody better. Focus on the four checker people of your list, right? There's the PS3 system, how to do proper three-way calls with your leader, with your upline, right? Taking the pressure off of you and letting your leader or your upline present information, close the people for you, right? This is what the PS3 system is. It takes the stress off of you being the new leader, not fully understanding how to present the business yet. Get somebody else to do it for you until you know what, go back through I do you watch, right? I do you help. Are you at a point where you can go out there, you do you teach, and you can go teach the system, right? If not, find somebody to learn from and do what they do, right? Get them to help you grow. That's what three-way calls are for when it comes to building the business. This is more three-way calls in depth. Then the art of edification, how to properly edify somebody when they're coming up to speak, right? Whether that's at an event or an op call. You're not just going to tell, let's see who I can see on here on the camera. Blake's on there. I'm not just going to, if I'm on an op call with Blake and I'm bringing Blake up to close out the event, close out the op call, I'm not just going to be with a room of 100 people or a brand new customer, somebody who wants to learn about what Revolt and Jifu is. I'm not just going to tell them, hey, this is Blake, my buddy. Do you think the newest person coming in or wanting to learn more about Revolt and Jifu is going to be interested to hear from Blake, your buddy? No. You want to help that person, right? Obviously, Blake's my buddy. Blake's your buddy, right? But you want to edify that person in a way where the other person who's listening wants to keep listening to Blake, right? Blake is a 22-year-old kid who's fired up about the business, making thousands of dollars from his cell phone, right? 20, geez, I thought you were 22. 20-year-old kid fired up, making thousands of dollars from his cell phone, is, the leader out in Nebraska, growing an organization of, 50 plus people out there, fired up. He helps everybody. He has a true heart of gold, wants to see people win before himself. Like, you want to talk highly about that person, not just here's Blake, my buddy. Right? Do you think you're going to be interested if you hear everything that Blake's done and that Blake leads people and is helping people make money from their cell phone, you're going to want to listen to what Blake has to say, right? Going through these different systems, going through the art of edification, the perfect invite. I'm not going to touch on all of these, but these are different videos, different things that you can watch and learn how to build a business properly, right? If you learn all of these different skill sets and you master them and you help somebody learn and help you do it better, whether that's inviting, making a list, whatever it is, by the end of this, you're going to be at a level where you're hitting silver 700, where you're making $700 US a month. Right, then there's some audiobooks that you can listen to as well. Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn. If you haven't listened to that, I highly suggest you listen to that after this call. And there's GoPro, 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional by Eric Worre, right? 7 Skills in 7 Days. If you haven't watched that, go and watch it. It's fire. You learn all the different skill sets by somebody who's made multiple tens of millions of dollars in network marketing. And The Business of the 21st Century, Robert Kiyosaki, How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? Once you've hit 700, once you've mastered all these skills, guess what? You hit, click here, go to next. How to go, oh, this is from unranked to executive, sorry. Now you go from how to go from executive to silver, right? You hit the first rank, you have a For No More membership. Now this will help you go to 700, upgrading your account to an affiliate kit, right? How to withdraw from your e-wallet. Now you're going to be getting commissions from the company. You're going to set up all the different things. How to onboard your brand new customer. Everything you need to know when launching a new customer. The 72-hour call. What does that look like? What are the next steps I give to the newest customer, right? Launching someone on building the business. Understanding the GFU compensation plan. Understanding the report center. These are all different things that you need to learn, right? How to place a new enrollment in GFU. The director checklist. Retention, how to retain the team that you have, right? When you bring a newest customer in, how do I keep them in my team that they're not always falling off, right? You go through these step by step. There's a lot of videos to watch here, a lot of books and audios to help you grow, right? To go from executive to 700 and then go to gold, right? This is all the way up to, if we go back to the director bootcamp, is all the way up to the skills you need to know to go from unranked to director. This is why it's called the director bootcamp, right? And if you're already, building the business, you already are dialed in, you know the skills that you need, right? You've went through the director bootcamp. You want to plug it in with the social media system, watch the social media video. Olivia does a fire explanation of how to properly set up your social media so that it's attractive to people, that people want to watch you, how to post consistently and do all these things that you have more people watching you on social media, more people interacting with you, right? There's different videos here like why social media, there's preparation, the 3 steps before the work, right? Editing your TikTok page, what type of content to post, call to action. There's all these different videos, all these different tools that you can use to not just help you, but also help your team grow, right? If you're not using these systems, if you're not using the Director Bootcamp, you're not using the GFU website, right? Going through and watching the educators, taking the trade ideas, going through the director bootcamp, how do you expect to grow? Right? How do you expect your team to grow if you're not showing your team about it either? Right? That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Hopefully you guys all got some value, but before you guys leave, I do have one thing that I want to show you guys as well. Let me just make sure I can pull this up here and I have it on my iPad. I have it on my phone, but I'm not sure about my iPad. Where's Blake? I'm going to send it to Blake. On Sunday, right? We're on Wednesday now. We just did the leadership call. Let me stop the recording.